Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Hi everyone, you guys are watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you've been showing this YouTube channel from the very first video that was ever uploaded here. I promised you guys conversation about your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars and all the moments that have made us fans of Descendants and Zombies and brought us that much closer together and made us the best of friends. This is an experience in my lifetime that I will never ever forget, and it's been a huge honor for me to have become your voice of Descendants and Zombies. And with that comes a huge responsibility, because you have to think about the fans watching your videos about Descendants and Zombies and what they want to get the most out of your video for. And I think that a lot of YouTube creators fail to realize and understand Descendants and Zombies because of that fact. Because I think there are so many fans out there that know everything there is to know about Descendants and Zombies who have deserved better for far long enough now, and it's about time somebody went out of their way and above and beyond the requirements of a YouTube creator to give you just that. Because I think that the variety of Descendants and Zombies videos that you guys are watching on YouTube, being forced to watch, are really making no sense to anybody, because everybody wants to know when Zombies 5 is coming out, when Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland will drop a release date, and there are a lot of rumors floating around about what the release date of Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland and Zombies 5 is going to be. I get that. Everybody is saying up as late as till 2028 for Zombies 5. July 2026 is being predicted. That is the rumored release date for Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland. I get that, and where you guys are coming from and where your frustration lies, because growing up a fan of Disney, I always wanted to know when something was coming out, if there was going to be a new chapter of, say, something like Hannah Montana, because I was the biggest Hannah Montana fan ever. And when they announced rumors of Hannah Montana having its series finale in January of 2011, I was heartbroken. I never wanted to say goodbye to Hannah Montana because of the powerful music. It had nothing to do with the story. I was in love with Hannah Montana's voice, and I was in love with her music. So I never wanted to say goodbye to that series. So too did I never want to have to say goodbye to the High School Musical franchise, because the High School Musical franchise touched my heart in so many unspeakable ways and so many unimaginable ways. I was a fan of Disney. Everything Disney had going on in the early 2000s, I was a huge fan of, and I never wanted to say goodbye to anything having to do or related to Disney. And now years later, here comes Kylie Cantrall after a YouTube show called Hello Kylie explodes in popularity. And Kylie Cantrall is putting so much heart and dedication into everything she does, and she's faced with so much criticism from everybody who is a critic. And I have this to say to Kylie Cantrall: regardless of how people feel about you, Kylie, you are doing an extraordinarily fabulous job with promoting everything you've got going on. And you've got a lot going on, and you've got a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. I get that. Ever since donning the character Red, Kylie Cantrall has come off as an inspiration to millions of people, and she's never failed to touch the hearts of millions of fans of Descendants and Zombies. She wanted to be a part of this franchise from day one, from the very first moment she laid eyes on characters portrayed by Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson that were brought to life, Mal and Evie. And ever since then, she had a dream of not only being a part of Descendants, but franchises like High School Musical, which she grew up idolizing, and she took to YouTube to let the world know how she felt about it. And Disney saw her videos, and Disney gave her a chance. Years waiting, years in the making, Kylie Cantrall shows up on YouTube, reviewing shows like Sam and Cat, iCarly, Victorious, which I was a huge fan of. And after discovering Kylie Cantrall's YouTube channel, I said this girl had it. And what it refers to is all the qualities of a superstar in the making. And Kylie Cantrall became a superstar overnight because of her overwhelming popularity and how she could never fail or cease to amaze millions of people. It was truly unbelievable how Kylie Cantrall took reoccurring roles on shows like Bizarre Vark and Raven's Home and became an overnight success story. And it's been an overnight success story ever since. But I think there's so much more to Kylie Cantrall than meets the eye. I think that there is so much to appreciate about Kylie Cantrall's heart and dedication. So for this girl to have to watch videos of herself about people feeling the way they do about her, I think it's completely unnecessary and uncalled for. When Kylie Cantrall has to explain in a TikTok video the reason behind the gap in her teeth. I mean, the one thing that I never noticed about Kylie Cantrall was the gap in her teeth. I noticed so many things about Kylie Cantrall, like these unique qualities that separated her from every other Disney Channel star of that generation, Ruby Rose Turner and so on. But I never ever noticed the gap in her teeth. I mean, if she has to offer us an explanation for the reason behind the gap in her teeth, I mean, are people really that concerned about the gap in her teeth? They should be concerned about Kylie Cantrall being the superstar she is for Disney Channel, because Disney will never see these stars ever again. So because Disney will never see these stars ever again, and we're in an era that we'll never return to, I think we have to appreciate this era, and we have to appreciate it in so many unique ways. I think as columnists and journalists, we have to post more positive reviews about Kylie Cantrall to offer incentive for the foreseeable future, because undeniably there is a future for Descendants of Zombies, and especially with zombies, because everybody's been shutting down the hopes and dreams of every Zombies fan that Zombies 5 will ever happen. I think with Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires, everybody thought we were reaching a dramatic conclusion. And I absolutely love how critics will refer to it as a dramatic conclusion, because that's what they want to see happen for zombies. They believe they're running into supernatural characters, and I want for one believe that this story is far from over. And this conversation, so too, never has to be over, because as long as a fan has a theory or a prediction to be made about the Zombies franchise, then I think we should hold on to those theories and those predictions, because I absolutely love hearing your predictions. I absolutely love hearing what you have to say about zombies, because it's the fans' input that means the world to me. And this is why I've forever and always believed that Disney should listen to the fans more than what they ever do or ever have. Because it seems like a board meeting will happen between, say, 100 individuals every day in and day out when it comes to Disney executives. And they will throw these concepts in front of us just to see how we're going to respond to it. Kind of like how they did it with Descendants. They just put the Descendants concept in front of us, just waiting to see how we were going to respond to it. And when we eventually did, and it exploded in popularity, Disney took full advantage of that, and they seized opportunities. And they've been using Kylie Cantrall and Malia Baker for their financial benefit, for their grossing, for everything they could possibly use them for, they did. But what it comes down to is each and every one of us and how much we believed in these stars from the very beginning. Because we felt as if we've been a part of a story, a legendary tale for what feels like forever. And if it were up to me, if I was the writer and producer behind Descendants of Zombies, this story would never be over. It would be far from its dramatic conclusion. And as I just said, I absolutely love how critics refer to it as a dramatic conclusion, because it has to be anything but that. I think there is still so much of a story for these characters to embark on, so much of a journey for them to be a part of. And I, for one, am incredibly excited about the foreseeable future when it comes to the Zombies and Descendants franchises, because of just how many characters have yet to see their introduction into this franchise, how much of a story has yet to be told, and how many unanswered questions we were left with because of the rise of Red. Because now we're faced with the consequences of time travel, from Red and Chloe going back in time and altering the fabric of it. I think that nobody should ever alter the fabric of time and not expect consequences, because you can be sure that consequences will come back to haunt you. But what kind of consequences will come back to haunt Red and Chloe? And was happily ever after all that Red and Chloe ever meant it was going to be? I think that the stories of Ruby Rose Turner's character Bridget is far from over, and I think with how much she offered to this franchise, she offered way more than just an explanation behind why the Queen of Hearts turned out the way she was and became the villain that she was. I think that she offered so much kindness and so much inspiration to millions of fans. So because she offered so much kindness and inspiration to millions of fans, and she became everybody's favorite character from the rise of Red, I really do believe that an explanation for this character is more than Ruby Rose Turner could ever offer. I think there is still so much more of a story from not just her character, but every other character that was a part of this franchise, and I'm just excited to be a part of the future. We have Red's sister Pink coming into the franchise, played by Liamani Segura, from High School Musical, the series fame, and I, for one, am excited to see what she's going to be offering to this franchise, because she herself has so much of a story yet to be told. This could also be setting up for a passing of the torch moment unofficially between Red and Chloe to Pink, because when you bring a new character like Pink, Red's sister, into the franchise, she has so much of a story to be told, and this could be told over the course of probably 3 or 4 more movies, because I believe that you just can't tell a story in 90 minutes and complete it. Regardless of how many critics believe that a story was told in just under 90 minutes and completed, I think it was 87 minutes of script time. 87 minutes is nothing. So what can you tell in terms of a story in just 87 minutes? Nothing. 3 minutes of that 90 minutes was used for credits, and that's to be expected, but I think that there's still so much of a story to be told. So to close the book this soon, and so suddenly on Descendants and the franchise in its entirety, would just be giving the critics what they want, and more people than ever before are ever given credit for exactly what they want. But if you keep this story going, and you keep introducing characters from Disney's most popular franchises like Princess and the Frog and Encanto, which I'm incredibly excited about. I've seen all the graphics that people have been creating for Alice in Wonderland characters, Princess and the Frog characters, and Encanto characters. I really do appreciate this because you guys are keeping this franchise alive. And this is forever and always what I wanted to see for this franchise because it's been faced with so much criticism ever since day one. From the first time that Dove Cameron showed up on the set of Descendants, nobody wanted to give her much of a chance. Nobody believed that Dove Cameron had the ability to separate character traits the way that she could and bring this character Mel to life that nobody ever saw the sense of. But the thing is, millions of people gravitated to Dove Cameron because they learned so much so quickly from Dove Cameron, and they came away from Descendants, the first installment of the franchise, feeling more inspired than ever before. Kenny Ortega did a great job, regardless of how you feel about him from Hocus Pocus and High School Musicals era. He did a great job bringing this action-adventure musical to life, because this was never supposed to have been an action-adventure musical until Kenny Ortega signed on and came on board. He signed on for the original trilogy, and since then, the Descendants director's door has been a revolving door. We've seen Jennifer Fang, we've seen Kimmy Gatewood come into the franchise. I think a dedicated director has been what Descendants has been calling out for a very long time. And until you get a dedicated director that understands the appreciation that goes behind Descendants and Zombies and how much it means to a fan who watches this all the time, I think Descendants will continue to cry out for a dedicated director. And this is why I've been forever advocating to get in as the writer and producer of Descendants and Zombies, because if I get in as the writer and producer of Descendants and Zombies, then things are really going to start happening for a franchise that has seen so much heart and so much dedication from its fans. I have never seen a far more dedicated fan base than the fans of Descendants and Zombies. You guys are incredible. And if there was one fan base that I could provide commentaries for the rest of my life, it would be the fans of Descendants and Zombies, because you guys have shown so much passion, so much heart and dedication behind everything you believe when it comes to Descendants and Zombies. And I, for one, believe that your favorite stars don't owe you any explanations as to why there are gaps in their teeth or why they feel the way they do about a political point of view or their relationship, because all these rumors have been derived from relationships between Kylie Cantrall and Malia Baker, how Kylie Cantrall feels about a certain situation in her own life, which she herself can't even make sense of, and here she goes on TikTok and offers you explanations behind why she feels the way she does. She doesn't owe her fans any explanation. All she wants from each and every one of you is your love and support. And as long as you continue to show that love and support for Kylie Cantrall is going to go to the stars and beyond, which is exactly what I've wanted to have happen for Kylie Cantrall for forever, along with her knowing that everything is going to be okay. Because there is a guy on YouTube that actually cares about the fans of Descendants and Zombies and cares about its stars. And I've just wanted to be a part of that because of those reasons. Because I think a lot of people are just capitalizing on the popularity of Descendants and Zombies and been capitalizing on the popularity of Descendants and Zombies for a very long time. That's the reason behind the dolls, all the Descendants and Zombies merch, which sell millions of units because of its popularity. I mean, every child out there wants to get their hands on the 10th anniversary dolls or just the original dolls from whatever franchise you were a fan of. The cool thing about being a fan of Descendants and Zombies is now, years ago when you came in and were introduced to the franchise, you only had the original franchise, just 3 movies to watch in The Royal Wedding, and then they set up for this new franchise. They teased it at the end of The Royal Wedding in 2021. They filmed it during the pandemic, and they teased introducing us to Descendants characters from Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella for the first time ever, and this set up for a beautiful franchise. It kept people guessing about the future. It went on a 5-year hiatus, and I think because it went on a 5-year hiatus, a lot of people were doubting it seeing much success. But it certainly did see a lot of success because you guys believed in it so much that you guys gave this franchise life. Kind of like Frankenstein and Igor, how Igor created Frankenstein years ago. You guys created a monster when it comes to Descendants and Zombies. And you guys have every reason to be proud of yourselves for what you took a franchise and made it become. Because you guys went through an evolutionary process with Descendants and Zombies, which is the best way that I can describe it, and made it something so far incredible and exceeded the expectations of every critic out there. It definitely exceeded all my expectations for a Disney Channel franchise, because I've been a fan of every Disney Channel franchise that you can think of. If there was a new episode of Hannah Montana or Wizards to watch, I was there for it. I was front and center. I was center stage. And I always wanted something to do with Disney Channel. You know, growing up watching Disney Channel when I was a kid, it was so fun. There were different ways I had to watch Disney Channel because Disney Channel didn't become exclusive in my my region until 2015, but I used to watch all these shows like Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, and think about how fun it would be to be on the set of these shows and be a part of whatever Disney Channel had going on or were promoting. And that was always a dream of mine because this lifestyle looked incredible. And then I found out about all these secrets behind the screen and when the camera were turned off and how these kids were being treated, and my heart sunk. Because I really believe that these stars deserve more respect and far more credit than ever before, and I'll have more to say on this in an upcoming show on my YouTube channel, so keep watching for that video to drop in my archives. I really do believe that there's a certain amount of respect and dignity that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies, and until you have that certain respect and that dignity that you can showcase and bring forth for every video, the greater appreciation for Descendants of Zombies will never be realized by fans. Because I think that as a host of a show, come with great power comes great responsibility, as I quote Spider-Man. I was a big fan of the original Spider-Man live actions from 2002 to 2007. Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst were one of the most revered power couples in Marvel history, and I really miss the original Spider-Man cast because with great power does come great responsibility. And I think that in order to drop a video on your archives and on your channel about Descendants of Zombies, you really got to understand everything there is to know about Descendants of Zombies. The first night I ever saw a girl show up at my door on Halloween dressed up as their favorite character, I think it was Mel, and she sent me behind my computer all night looking up what I could find or research about Descendants of Zombies, and that meant their favorite color, what they loved about life, what they didn't so much love about life or appreciate. It gave me a greater appreciation for Descendants of Zombies, and that's why to this day many people refer to me as a Descendants analyst, because I can break down and I can analyze these franchises in the way they forever and always meant to be broken down. Because I think that along with all the criticism your favorite stars have been faced with, it is totally unnecessary. And if you're going to post a video about Descendants of Zombies and somebody like Kylie Cantrall and Malia Baker, you got to realize they still have a long way to go and they are figuring out their place in the world. When I was 20 years old, like Kylie Cantrall currently is, I didn't know if I was coming or going. All I had was a PlayStation 3 and probably a 43-inch TV in my bedroom, and I was playing video games night after night. I was playing Resident Evil and Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot and thought I had the world. You know, I didn't know where my life was headed, what direction I wanted to take it in until now, when I decided I wanted to become a full-time YouTube creator because of you guys showed me so incentive and gave me such creative energy and inspired me to upload so many videos about Descendants of Zombies. By the way, guys, thank you so much for that, because I don't know where I'd be without all your love and support. I really don't. I do know that I want to make sure that your favorite stars go down in history for being some of the greatest of all time, because if I can't do that, I won't be able to do anything. Because if I'm going to leave a legacy behind, it will be because of Descendants of Zombies, and that will have everything to do with securing the future of your favorite stars, no matter how many years they have left as entertainers to entertain each and every one of us. I think that if we're going to upload videos of Descendants of Zombies, we have to upload videos of Descendants of Zombies with a certain pride and a certain passion. And until these YouTube creators, these big-time channels, realize that, then the videos will never ever be seen by each and every one of you. I think that when you open your eyes or shut them every single night, you should be watching videos of Descendants of Zombies you should be proud of watching. I think that these reviews of Descendants of Zombies and these so-called reaction videos are really pointless and they're serving no purpose, because I think that nobody's ever wanted to grasp the concept of Descendants of Zombies quite like I have. I enjoyed watching it this past summer with each and every one of you, because I'll tell you how I enjoyed watching it with each and every one of you this past summer. I watched it as a fan. I didn't sit down in front of my TV with a remote control and a bowl of popcorn and watch it as a critic. I watched it as a fan. And I think watching it as a fan gave me a greater appreciation for everything they went through, shooting all these scenes in the nighttime, which was absolutely incredible, from 7 p.m. till 5 a.m. the next morning. I would have loved to take myself up in the opportunity to shoot scenes from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. every night in New Zealand, because the scenery is absolutely beautiful and so breathtaking. And I think I would have just had the time of my life. I have forever wanted to be a part of the Zombies franchise, and I think there's a greater appreciation that goes behind all the heart and dedication that people like Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim and Freya Skye and Malachi Barton brought to that set. And I get where each and every one of you are coming from about how you feel about Descendants of Zombies, so you're probably going to want to get that out of the way right now and hit that subscribe button on this YouTube channel, because if you are a fan of Descendants and Zombies, I have promised you that I will never ever let you down. And that's the greatest promise that I've ever made on this YouTube channel from the very first video that was ever uploaded here. Is because I want you to take away from each video that I upload a greater appreciation for Descendants and Zombies, because there truly is one. And there is an undeniable future in store for everybody who ever said they were a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And I, for one, am just incredibly excited to be here and be a part of that future, because when we talk about Descendants and Zombies, more positive reviews are needed for the stars of Descendants and Zombies to make them feel proud about themselves and how far they have come. I mean, I remember watching Malia Baker on a show called Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was rebooted for the first time since 1999. It went on here from 1991, I think 1990 to 2000. And ever since I saw the original Are You Afraid of the Dark, I thought the new cast in the reboot from 2021 to 2022 were fabulously collaborated. Malia Baker was a part of the Midnight Society cast, and I thought she was great. I thought she really brought that franchise to life. I had watched that show from October 31st of 1990 on until October of 2000, and I have missed that show for forever. So seeing Malia Baker offer so much to Nickelodeon franchises and eventually Disney crossing over, I think more opportunities like this should be given to your favorite stars, and more respect should be shown to them, because they still have a long way to go. And I'm here to ensure that they do get to that point in their career where they realize that everything they've done was worth it in the end. And you guys can help me with that by hitting the subscribe button or hitting my like button, because this has been the most fun that I have had in my entire life, because I not only got to talk about Descendants and Zombies, I got to meet so many wonderful fans about Descendants and Zombies in that process. And it's going to be a time in my life that I wish I could experience all over again, time and time again, and something I will never ever have any regrets because of. Guys, thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown each and every one of my videos I've uploaded on this YouTube channel, and I promise you that this YouTube channel will forever and always be here because of each and every one of you, and because you are fans of Descendants and Zombies. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit my like button, my subscribe button, and to ring my bell to stay up to date with everything in terms of notifications for everything happening on this YouTube channel, because you're not going to want to miss a single second of all the action happening on this YouTube channel. When it comes to fans of Kylie Cantrall, Malia Baker, I forever support each and every one of you. Many of you probably are fans of Ruby Rose Turner too, and there's a lot of conversation that happens here revolving around Ruby Rose Turner, so you're going to find time in appreciating this YouTube channel, whatever way you choose to review it or how you feel about it, guys. I think everybody is a fan of Descendants and Zombies in their own right, and everybody deserves to be a part of something special, or at least feel as if they're a part of something special at least once for every lifetime, guys. And I'm just so honored to be that guy to be able to do it for you, because nobody can provide you with commentaries, analogies, and breakdowns and reviews of Descendants and Zombies like yours truly. And I've never felt more honored, because I had the honor of being able to do that for each and every single person who ever proudly said they were a fan of Descendants and Zombies. Happy holidays to everybody. I will have more reviews of the Snow Angels music video with time as I produce more videos of Descendants and Zombies into that foreseeable future, because it's going to be a good one, filled with so much promise and so much hope when it comes to fans of Descendants and Zombies, because Descendants 5 Book Wonderland will happen sometime between now and July of 2026, and sometime between now and 2028 for a release window being looked at for Zombies 5. Stay calm and zombie on, everybody, because life is that much sweeter when all of us are, and I will have more videos about Descendants and Zombies in that foreseeable future. Thank you so much for watching this video and allowing me to have been a part of each and every one of your lives as your voice of Descendants and Zombies. It's been the greatest honor of my life. Thank you so much for watching.